And so now I invite you to take a comfortable leaning back position. If you don't have a setup that allows you to do this, this is the same thing we did last week. You can also sit upright or you can lie flat on your back. If you do have a setup with a bolster or a big cushion or something, you might then also take a roll blanket, just like we did last week, bring it up on top of your feet, and then wrap it under your legs so that when you open the legs, there's a support under your thighs so that you're not overstretching the adductors. If you don't have a nice blanket like I do to wrap around, you can also take a block and prop your leg in that way. Or you could take a couple of pillows or stuff a nice heavy shirt under there, just anything to give yourself some support. And once you have that, you can just lie back on your bolster like this and let your arms rest by your side. And of course, your face will face the ceiling. Mine's turned right now because I'm talking to you. And if your neck is hyperextended here, bring a little towel or a little pillow under the head so that the forehead is higher than the chin. And there's a very slight tuck in the throat. And invite your body to wiggle itself into place to create little movements and settling sort of aspects of your being to really help your embodied self, your physical self, to feel comfortable here. And feel free to readjust as we spend some time here to create comfort for your body. To find that middle way, not being overly wiggly, but also not freezing into place. If it feels appropriate, you can close your eyes here, or you can bring them to half mast. You can just have a downward gaze, or in any other way, create a sense of ease in the eyes. A sense of ease around how visual stimulation might or might not enter your awareness here. And then as your body settles in, gently begin to draw your attention to your breath. Sometimes at the end of the day, it takes your mind, your observing awareness, a moment to really become attentive and mindful of the breath. So give yourself the space to struggle with that for a moment if necessary. Maybe making a little bit of extra effort in the beginning so that then you have greater ease later. Again, finding that middle way of settling your attention onto the breath. Soft attention, soft effort, engaged ease. And as you're becoming attentive to the breath in this way, perhaps begin to notice the breath in the body. Notice where in your body you can feel the breath most concretely. And this may be different for every one of us. For some of you, the breath might be most palpable in the rising and falling of the belly. You might even place a hand on your belly to really highlight that motion. For some, the breath is most tangible in the expansion and contraction of the lower rib cage. You could even place the hands at the outsides of your low ribs to see if you can find the breath there. For some, you might notice the breath as movement of air in the throat. Air that is cool, traveling into the throat, and breath that is warm, traveling out. For some, a tangible way of feeling the breath might be a sense of cool air entering the nostrils and a sense of warm air leaving. So give yourself the time, the pleasure to really notice where in the body you sense the breath, and maybe you feel it everywhere. Maybe you feel it as a vibration from your core to your edges. There is truly no right or wrong here. The breath has so many different manifestations in the body, so just observe with curiosity, with an open heart and open mind. And as you find a beautiful relationship of breath and body, continue to breathe in this attentive way, having great clarity about the fact that breath and body interact each time you inhale and exhale. And then begin to notice how deeply you are breathing in this moment. Does the breath feel shallow or deep? Are you moving a lot of air or very little air? Or a moderate, neutral amount of air? Just notice, what is the volume of air? What is the volume of breath that is traveling into the body and out of the body? How full do your lungs feel at the end of the inhalation? How empty do they feel at the end of the exhalation? Is there a sense of balance? Are you moving as much air in as you're moving out? Or is one part of the breath fuller than the other? Again, meeting the breath here without judgment and just noticing how the breath is moving. And then begin to notice how long it takes you to breathe in and how long it takes you to breathe out. You might just get an intuitive sense of that, or you might actually choose to count, or to use the alphabet, or the number of times you can say your name mentally as you're breathing in and then as you're breathing out. And as you pay attention to this, to the length of the breath, begin to notice if one half of the breath is longer than the other. Does the inhalation take as long as the exhalation? And then from here, I invite you to find a sense of balance in the breath. So that if you've noticed that the breath is shorter on one cycle of the breath than on the other, so if the inhale is shorter or longer than the exhale, make them even. See if there's a way, if it feels appropriate for you in this moment, to alter the breath just ever so slightly so that the length is the same on the inhale as on the exhale. Maybe that means lengthening one or shortening the other, or maybe a little bit of both. This will be your own introspection here that will guide you to how can you create balance in the breath here. Balance in the length of the inhalation and exhalation. And then notice the volume of the breath, how much breath you're moving in and out. And see if you can also balance how deeply you breathe in with how deeply you breathe out. Moving the same amount of breath into the lungs as you're moving out of the lungs. Creating balanced fluctuations in the breath here. Finding in essence the middle way. Inhalation and exhalation being matched to each other by finding the middle ground. This equal breathing may support a focused mind. It may support ease in the body. It may even balance your emotions. So just notice how that equal breathing reverberates through the different layers of yourself. Your body, your energy, your mind, your emotions. And then release the effort to alter the breath if you haven't already. And invite the breath to return to its natural rhythm. It may or may not change. It may have found a natural rhythm already. The idea is simply to release any effort to control the breath, to change the breath. Finding ease. Letting go. Take one or two more rounds of breath as you begin to prepare mentally for a journey back to a seat. So you might envision your path first to the right side. How will you support your head? How will you support your body? And then you might imagine how you would come to a seat. And then go ahead and make that journey to a seat. If you're not there already.